Paddy Cavanagh said one time, I'll attack it fiercely. Lord Mayor and Minister, ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to the banks of the Crooked River, the Kilmainham. By now you will gather I'm not from Inchicore Kilmainham. And you might even ask, as we do in West Limerick, what is that fella doing planked up there before us? I'm from a village, or possibly a watery townland outside the village. And it is claimed that Dublin is a collection of villages. The Inchicore Kilmainham area is one of these villages, a place with a very significant story for this country, and an area that was teeming with workers employed by the public and private sector up to the early 60s. And because of its past, we must have a future. Otherwise we will have a past, as somebody said, brittle with relics and ghosts of another age. It was with this hunch and this knowledge that there is something very significant here for this locality and for the state, along with the obvious signs of decay and the dripping away of self-confidence, and finally the establishment of the structural funds for community development. All this led to the establishment of the Inchicore and Kilmainham Development Project. The name is a bit long. However, the project, what is it? It's a coalition of community-based organizations and individuals representing different sections of the community and various shades of opinion. And what does it seek to do? It seeks progressive development in the planning, in the environment, and in the rich culture that is here. And above all, it wants to bring employment to this place. And the endeavours so far are: an outline development plan was drafted and submitted to the Department of Finance, and a series of public seminars were held in traffic, local waterways and employment. A clean-up and an exhibition relating to the Grand Canal was organised in cooperation with the Office of Public Works and with local groups. A campaign to have traffic planning rationalised is in progress, and the project has also supported St Michael's Estate in their campaign for refurbishment. Unsuitable development in the area has been successfully opposed in several cases. And finally, in an effort to highlight the treasures of the area, a number of publications have been produced. Our area could be described as the hidden Dublin, a place that could easily be lost, pass over, and some say frozen out. In some places within the area there are up to 80% unemployed, and overall the rate of unemployment is 6% above the national average. Today the project presents an overview of employment proposals based on local resources. Proposals not based, we hope, on naive optimism about the future, but proposals coming from a conviction that self-confidence and employment comes from the local in collaboration with the government. This is in line with the European Charter of Local Self-Government and above all in accordance with the government's National Development Plan. The guidelines are here. The private sector, the national environment, crafts and enterprise centre, heritage, tourism, culture, arts, architecture, leisure and recreation, youth and community development. In no other place is there such an abundance of raw material. Potential for certain, but potential that will not be realised without partnership with government, with the private sector, and with different community groups. And this is what is here dovetails with the government's thinking on employment and thinking behind the national plan. Today the project asks the Minister to look at the proposals, to act with firm determination. There are seeds of growth for public and private sectors here. And we are asking our public representatives to remember the area in the floor of the Dáil, in the Senate, in the City Hall, in all places where decisions are made, to help, as someone said, to bring pride to this area. And the project says to the local community and to all that these proposals are not written in stone, never to be touched, they are for debate. And it was with the spirit of partnership and letting go that these are presented and hopefully will be further developed and embellished. It is an effort to grow together in self-confidence, which is the beginning of all development, that this project presents these outlines. Seamus Dean wrote about his city Derry, and his final lines are these. It has been like this for years, someone says. It might be so forever, someone fears, or for days. Forever, for days. Today we strike a note of hope in this gathering, in the presence of our minister. And with the final conviction and the final plea from this document. Work is the lifeblood of any community. These outlines employment proposals, in our view, could play a vital part in regenerating a unique part of Old Dublin, the villages of Kilmainham and Inchicore. Thanks very much.
I think that was a very accurate reflection of what we hope, our plans are where they're going to go, and we hope that they'll be taken on by the whole of the community, and they're not just going to belong to the Inchicore Kilmainham Development. Now, it's an enormous pleasure to introduce the Minister for Labour Affairs, Mary O'Rourke TD, and to ask her to formally launch Realising Potential.
I would like to thank you all for the invitation to be here this morning, and to be here indeed with Dublin's first citizen, the Lord Mayor, and my colleague Jim Mitchell, who represents this area. When I received the invitation, I was very keen to come, because I realised, even within the tone and the content of the letter of the invitation which came to me, that there were exactly the type of ideas that Father O'Connor has spoken of so clearly and indeed so lovingly when he expressed himself before me this morning. And then the brochure came in, Realising Potential, with all of its various sub-themes enclosed within it. And all of that sounds very grand, but what it really is an area of Dublin saying, hey, look at us, look at me, look what we have done in the past, and look what we can do in the future, if, as Father O'Connor says, we build upon the past. And of course, history and the past is all wonderful to dwell upon, but it's even more powerful, and it has such a strong impetus when you use the past and harness it to what you can do for now and what you can do in the future. And that is what this group, who have come together in a very voluntary capacity, that is what this group have done with their production and with their ideas. And over the last 12 months, I've been around many areas of Ireland who are putting forward ideas for self-regeneration and for ideas for development and potential. But I most genuinely think I haven't come across a proposal which has been so focused in each of the areas which it hopes to exploit and to explore and to redevelop. You come to an area and they have great ideas for tourism, and indeed very fine ideas which they put forward to you, or for small industries, or for craft areas, or matters such as that. But each separate identified area within the Kilmainham Inchicore location has been drawn out, and drawn out in a very thorough way, in that it has looked at its past and what that area has done, whether the area is one of crafts and the application of crafts in a modern sense, whether it's youth and what has been done and what can be done, whether it's the old traditional industries which were here, like locomotives and like transport and other areas, or whether it's looking to the industrial past. And I'm very interested in the idea of the Museum of Industrial Archaeology, because we're inclined to think that history, of course, is old, forgotten, far, what did the line of Chesterton say? Old, forgotten, far off things and battles long ago. Yes, that is history, and indeed this area is well used to that too. Wherever there was water and wherever people lived by water, don't blame the old name, signifies that there have been communities, there have been people living together in communities, fighting about their territory, laying claim to it, occasionally raiders laying waste to it, and communities reforming themselves. So history has been about old forgotten far off things and battles long ago, but it has also been about people living in communities, and I constantly say this. I used to teach history and it has infused everything I think about matters. It's also about people living together their daily lives, what they wore, what they ate and what they did for a living, how they got their food, how they did trade and barter with one another, how they reared their children, their families. It's about all of those living, breathing things, so that history becomes not arid and dry as in the pages of a history book, as so often when we're going to school we think about it just in date terms. It's far more than that. It's flesh and blood, as I said, and living people. So this area here of Inchicore and Kilmainham is all about that. It's about communities living in very closely together, sharing defeats and triumphs and challenges and upsets, and sharing them together in a very real way. Now that has been the past, and it remains the present, and for the future the hope is what I think very strongly is in this document. As I say, it isn't all roses and aspirational. It's very clearly worked together by the group with knowledge and with professional input from the knowledge of each individual who live in this area. And then they've taken a theme each, I imagine they did within a group, and they've worked on that theme to bring forward very credible, very realisable ideas with potential in them for employment. So it's drawing, as I said, from the skills of the past, and they have been powerful in this area, very powerful, very geared to work. I would say there were very few people ongoing this area that weren't attending to something within their local community. And so it can be, and this very production is an attention again to the local community, working at it and working through it. So to me it has very real potential, and I do intend, and I spoke to our chair here today about the matter before we came up. I think you have formed yourself now into an embryonic partnership. We know the term partnership in the term of what the government is trying to do through local area partnerships. But you, rather than wait to be imposed upon with the ideas of what a government sees as local partnership, you have done that job yourself. And you have come together in your grouping and formed a partnership. And out of that partnership has come these very fine documents. I certainly am going to bear them back to my own department, to the Taoiseach's department, who are implementing the whole partnership reality. And I'm going to say, hey, these are the people of Inchicore and Kilmainham talking about themselves, making statements of fact, statements of the past, and harnessing the two together for the future. I wish the project every success, and I am very encouraged and very enthusiastic, genuinely by it, and I do say that I will further it and progress it as far as possible, and will continue to have a very strong interest in it. Gurlida Mahagan.
Minister O'Rourke and certainly Father O'Connor, they've more or less said it all. There's just a few points that I'd like to reiterate. As Minister O'Rourke said, it is about partnership. The Inchicore Kilmainham Development Group is about partnership within the group itself. We also hope that that partnership will be extended to the rest of the community, and indeed to all the national organisations that have come here today and to the launch. This won't be the last you'll be hearing of us, hopefully. We'll be knocking on your doors, because it is about partnership and it's about debate. And for us, this is only step one. We have to go forward with this. We have to go forward to the rest of the community with it, and we have to go forward to national organisations. And we will be asking you for your support, and we hope that we'll get it. And finally, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here this morning. As I say, it is a great turnout. We're really pleased, particularly with the amount of community people that are here as well, because that is very important to us, that we feel support in the local community. Also to all the national organisations, to Father O'Connor for chairing or for making his speech, and especially to Minister O'Rourke for coming and supporting us. We're very grateful for that support, and we feel that it's very genuine. Finally, I'd like to thank the Royal Hospital for the great facility they gave us. They're always available to us, and they really are a great resource for the area. I think that's about it. Okay, thanks very much.
See you in, okay?
Nice one, maybe.
Huh?
Who you been on now anyway?
Everybody.
And thank you very much for the invitation.
I'm just getting this message, sisters now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's been highlighted.
Right, I do that with you. That's a lovely garden there, isn't it?
It's beautiful, yeah. The landscape that I think is
The environmentalist.